stream. Let's see, start streaming. Why does it? Oh, okay, that's weird. Up dashboard. View stream. All right, another person popped through. Awesome, 10 now. Joni must have came in downstairs. All right. View stream. Hello, Rachel. We have some blocks today. We have the possibility of doing an inversion while other people are coming through because we're not totally. Still got a couple of minutes to go, but anybody have any things I need to be aware about with your practice in your bodies these days today? All right. That's weird. All right, this thing is not working. Hello. It's on though, but just doesn't want to move anywhere. Oh, there we are. Okay. Hi. What is this thing doing today? Everybody online, we're going to get this figured out in a second. There is some lag with the, that is not usually the case. All right. For those of you online, it's going to be a wild ride here for a little bit while the camera sorts itself out. Hello? Anybody here new to me? Brand new? Welcome. New to the studio? No. Right? New to the studio? Yes? No? All right, cool. Your name? Asana. Asana. All right, cool. I haven't. So you just got checked in just as. All right, cool. I didn't see that. And your name is? Nora. Nora. All right, cool. I did see that. This is so new to me, not new to the studio. This is a intermediate level class. Now let's see if I can do this without it just going haywire here now. A little bit down. Intermediate expectation that you have some awareness of your body and your practice. I don't go around and do a lot of hands-on adjustments. I'm not against those things. It's just not my style. And so there's a real focus on verbal cues more than anything. Because there's a possibility of some inversions today, certainly I can step in and give some extra support around that. But a general understanding that there's an awareness you have about your body. Okay, this thing is wild today. Down, move. And so other people have come through. Any injuries, anything in anyone's body I should be aware of today for a practice? All right. If they're not new to the studio here, just like all of the other times we've been talking about and all the other things you might have heard in class, we're looking here to take care of ourselves. so that we can do yoga both today, tomorrow, next week, next year. Yeah, where did the straps get? Oh, there we are. Things have moved around. We're just going to leave it like that. Hopefully everyone can see. That's being weird today. So we do have the possibility of coming into inversions in practice today. One of the things that for me kind of sets off what is an intermediate class. Over the past 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks now I guess, we've been playing with Padangusthasana A, B, and C, the series of, I guess just so I can be quick about it, right? A, B, and C. We've been playing with that in different poses that are essentially the same thing, but because we have a different relationship to the ground, they have a different name, they ask us to do things a little differently. The thing that I'm thinking about adding here today for the inversion is coming into headstand probably. L pose at the wall is a great alternative as well. And playing with using gravity to get us into Padangusthasana A legs in our inversion, right? So we're headstand, one leg is straight up, the other one is out at 90 degrees. It's a lot of core to lift that up when we're standing. When we're upside down, gravity does some of the work of bringing our thigh closer toward our head, which is on the floor. So we'll be playing with some of that today in our practice. L pose at the wall will be a possibility. If doing an inversion is not right for you, there'll be some other alternatives, including playing with exploring Padangusthasana A, B, and C in some other ways. Probably my last week of it, because it's been about 4 weeks, and I usually stick with that and progress things in that direction. So just something to keep in mind as we move through our practice here today. So welcome. Find your comfortable seat. If you would like to make any adjustments that you need to feel grounded in your seat and in your space, do so. Let your hands rest where they might. You can keep your gaze soft and unfocused, or you can let your eyes fully come closed. Welcome everybody here on Juneteenth, our newest federal holiday that has been around for quite a while. Oh, yeah, that's right. Let the breath help to ground you. Let the exhales carry away anything that is taking your attention away from this moment, away from yourself and your body and your intention. The inhale that follows, let it fill the space that was released from the exhale to again help to hold you in your intention, in your body, and with yourself. This intentional grounding in the beginning of a practice is, as I refer to it sometimes, sort of like finding that map at the mall and the "you are here." We need to know where we are so we can make the choices about where we want to go, because we know where we are and we're not ending up somewhere that is very disconnected from where we are. And that can certainly lead to injury, misalignment. As you take your next breath in and down, let the belly expand, let the knees be heavier, feel the shoulders lift a little bit without them necessarily creeping up to the ears. And on the exhale, feel how everything contracts and draws into itself. One more nice full breath in here, as it is your part of your breath. And just before the exhale begins, activate your core. Draw belly in and up to help guide the air up and out, to lengthen through the back of the spine, the back of the body. And on the next inhale that follows, let the eyelids open. However you need to get yourself into a tabletop position. You can cross over the ankles, you can take feet to one side, hips to the other. Find yourself in your tabletop. And because there is some inversion stuff here that we'll be getting toward, we're really going to be mindful about how this feels through the hands, through the wrists. And so just notice as you've placed your hands, is there already a tendency for your pointer finger knuckle mound to lift up, for us to start to dump the weight into the outer part of the wrist? And can you come back to midline, back to pressing down into the thumbs, into the pointer finger knuckle mound? And find what feels right for you. It can be wrists right underneath shoulders. It could be a little bit wider for you. And because we do need a lot of openness in the upper body, one other thing just to play with and see if it feels right for you is, rather than pointer fingers parallel pointing straight forward, can you turn them a little bit open so your pointer fingers are more toward the front or top right and left corner of your mat? And that external rotation gives us a little bit more lift through the chest, a little bit more openness. From here, if this feels good for you, otherwise you can back up from it, begin to take some cat-cow stretches, either letting them be gentle. It's a hot day out, we want to balance things. But also maybe for some of us being a little bit more active, where instead of the breath just fully leading the way, can you activate the core here to draw yourself deeper into your cat stretch? And can you find this isometric action of hands pressing down, but also trying to hug back toward the knees to pull your heart forward? And if that feels different in any way, just notice what more active feels like. Notice how the connection to the floor with the hands are as our attention starts to move to other parts of ourselves. And the next time you find yourself in your cat stretch, we're going to inhale here back to neutral. And if you would rather come into puppy pose rather than your first down dog right in this moment, you're going to walk your feet and your knees more toward the back of the mat as you walk your hands toward the top of the mat, so that it looks like tabletop from the hips down, down dog from the hips up. Otherwise, feel free to rise up into your first down dog of the practice, maybe first one of the day. And for those of you who are in puppy pose, if you would like to stay there for a few more breaths, and the focus here is the stretch through the shoulders, through the upper back, and through the chest, stay right here. If you're in down dog, we were playing last week with a little bit of core action. On your exhale, let your heels be heavy, both of them about even. And then without that foot carrying forward, just hover the right foot straight an inch up from the floor, right? So stay very low to the floor here. We're trying to keep our toes in line. And doing the core work, can you hug that heel or that foot, that thigh, just an inch forward with the foot still hovering? And inhale, place it back down right alongside the left. Pause for the breath. Keeping the toes in line, so we're just hovering and lifting the foot an inch away from the floor. We're drawing heel a little closer to the hips. And on the next exhale, activating your core here on the left side. Hug that left foot forward, just half a footprint, half an inch, whatever it might be. Inhale to set it back down right beside the right. And either giving yourself the space to play with that core work, go for it. Try again on each side. Or if you're here for more of a hip opener in this moment, take your right leg up and back. Bend the knee, open the hip. And for those of us doing the hip opener, as the right knee lifts, can we also lift the left armpit, the left shoulder away from the floor, so that we're keeping a twist here through the torso and not turning, not like we're about to flip our dog. Good. Come back to your three-legged dog, come back to your down dog, try the second side. Again, maybe it's core work, maybe it's hip opening. before coming back to your three-legged dog and back to your down dog. Coming up really high on the heels, walk, step, hop, or jump to the top of your mat. Uttanasana. Bringing in the blocks if you need to. Let this first one be more about stretching the backs of the legs. And so if the blocks help you to have your legs straighter or longer, go for that option here first. And we'll just take 3 more breaths. You get to move with your body and the pace of your breath. Your inhale, you can come up a little bit onto fingertips. You can inhale and come all the way up to hands on thighs. And on the exhale, with the core work of actively drawing yourself into the fold, let this motion of folding and unfolding match your breath. And for the last breath or two, if you would like to, as you push down firmly through the feet, try to push the heels away from each other ever so slightly. That's very similar to taking inner thighs back. That may give you more openness through the low back to fold in a little deeper. Good. Let your next exhale be the depth for this forward fold. And on the inhale, you can roll up the spine, stacking vertebrae. You can reverse swan dive, however you would like to come up to tall mountain with arms overhead. Good. With arms overhead, send shoulders down the back so we have all this space here through the neck. Interlace the fingers and press palms to the sky. Notice here as arms go overhead, if we've lost that connection to our fire, the low ribs want to jut out and we start to find a back bend shape. But without integrity and alignment, so re-engage through the front body to pull yourself forward. Lift through the heart as you settle the shoulders down. And on the next inhale, as you stand down through the feet, lengthen through the right side, and on your exhale, send hips to the right and press the interlaced fingers to your left. If that is uncomfortable, you can do any other movement with the hands that feels right for you. But we're also sending left shoulder forward, right outer hip forward. Inhale to center. Reach arms back up to the sky. We're going to interlace our hands the exotic way, so different pinky finger at the bottom of the interlace. Palm spin back up to the sky. Nice full stretch here. Press down through the feet as you reach up through the hands. But continue to lengthen here on the left side, and as you send the hips to the left, reach off to the right for a standing crescent. Now it is right shoulder blade pressing forward, left outer hip pressing forward, so there's a twisting action here even in our side stretch. And we'll come through a sun salutation. Inhale to rise up. Reach arms down by your side. Just 2 breaths. Anything that feels nice through the shoulders after that, let yourself settle into your mountain pose. And we'll move through Surya Namaskar B. Inhale to reach up, lengthen and rise up. Lift the heels here if you would like to. On the exhales, the heels find the floor. Sit back and down into the chair. Stay heavy on the inner edges of both feet here. On the exhale, start to continue to hinge forward, folding in Uttanasana. Inhale to come to fingertips. Exhale, step 1 foot back and then the other for your plank pose. And as we settle down, check in with the hands. Make the adjustments that make plank pose feel a little bit more open through the upper body. And on the exhale, if you would rather pass Chaturanga and up dog, come to the floor for Cobra. If you would like to take Chaturanga at this point in your practice, lower halfway down, keeping the fronts of the shoulders lifting. Turn your Chaturanga into up dog, while the rest of class turns this into their Cobra poses. And on the exhale, back to the floor or Chaturanga. Inhale, press up and back to down dog. Right leg to the sky, and on the exhale, take a big step forward. You can lower the back knee if you would like to for low lunge instead, or inhale, rise up for crescent. Find depth through that front knee. Keep pushing back and out through the back heel as that inner thigh lifts. Give us a little more space to stretch. Good. Your next exhale, come on down, frame it out. Step back to plank. Chaturanga or pranam, coming all the way to the floor. Inhaling for cobra or up dog. Little change up here. On the next exhale, come back to the floor, chaturanga. Keep pressing down into the ball of the right foot. Lift the left leg a little bit. Push up and back through three-legged plank. Back through three-legged dog. Next exhale, take a big step forward with the left foot. Again, back knee can lower if you would like to, or inhale, rise up. Crescent lunge, second side. Good. Feet ground down, hug to center, inner thighs, hug to center. All this centering is just our grounding energy. Good. Exhale to frame it out. Step back to plank. One more flow. Maybe it's table, maybe it's down dog, maybe it is child's pose for you. Exhale for pranam or chaturanga. Inhale for cobra or up dog. Exhale back to the floor or chaturanga. Push down into the left foot. On the inhale, lift the right leg a little bit away from the floor. Push up and back through three-legged plank to three-legged down dog. Exhale, take a big step forward with the right foot. Let the left foot follow. Uttanasana, folding in. Next exhale, bend the knees, deeply chair pose. Hands to hips rather than overhead today. Put more weight into the right foot. Maybe it is left hand to left knee. Maybe we do this without support. Lift the left leg ever so slightly away from the floor. And on the inhales, you stand into the right leg. Rise up to this modified Padangusthasana A. Carry the knee a little bit to the left. Bring the foot to your Vrikshasana, and if it has to lower to the shin, do so. Ooh, I know I'm about to go as well. Fighting it. Find your balance. Good. We have our blocks in front of us. For some of us, we may make use of that for the transition. If you need to come down to stand on both legs, do so. Otherwise, on the inhale, carry your left knee forward. Keep it lifting. Keep that foot active. On the inhale, start to reach up and overhead. A little bit of core work here as we push out through the heel. As we push out through the heel, can we also hug the foot deeper into the hip socket? So on the exhale, as the leg starts to sweep back, it just brushes maybe over the top of the mat as we continue to reach forward into Warrior Three. Making use of the blocks here if you need to. Supported Warrior Three, a lot like Padangusthasana A. Front knee bends, back foot slowly finds the floor. A little less graceful way to get into it. Adjust your stance as you need to. You can bring your hands to frame out the foot if you would like to. But as you find this grounding and centering energy again through the legs, through the core, on your exhale, slowly lower left knee to the floor. Turn the palms forward once you're down. And on the exhale, like you're doing a pull up, pull down to lift through the chest. Some people will choose to stay here, continuing to lift through the heart and stay active through the core. If you would like to, you can reach the arms wide. Turn the palms away from you. Interlace the hands behind you as the elbows hug the center. This may be enough for the opening through the upper chest. If there is space for you to go a little further, we start reaching out through the interlaced fingers to straighten the arm, lifting a little bit more through the heart, but continuing to rise up out of the hips. Length through the spine for our back bends. Good. Next inhale, rise up. Bring both hands to the inside of that foot. Walk that right foot a little bit wider. You can take that back knee a little further back if you would like to. Standing up here for lizard lunge, Uttan Prasthasana. First, focusing deeper on the lunge. Maybe starting to add more of a forward fold here where our knee and shoulder are coming together. And you can come down on blocks if you would rather. You can stay upright on hands. Whether you're upright on hands or lower, think ever so slightly cow stretch so the heart is lifting and we're not just letting the head collapse. We're not letting gravity draw the chin to the chest. Some people will choose to stay here on the forearms. At this point, you can also come up to the hands if you would like to. But we're going to bring left hand to the floor, right hand to right knee. And on the exhale, this left side of the torso, we're going to start to spin toward that front right knee. Maybe the hand stays here to stay grounded through the hips by keeping the knee in line. Maybe right arm reaches to the sky. Maybe left knee bends, heel to sit bone, right hand reaches back for twisted monkey lunge, twist in our lizard, whatever we might want to call it. Inhale to unwind. Come back up onto hands. Lift the back knee. One step or many, that left foot is going to step forward, outside of the hand as well. So we come up like our lineman stance, our intro into Malasana. For some people, if it is part of your practice, you are welcome to fully settle into your Malasana. We've done a lot of work on one side, not much on the other, so it might feel a little less accessible on one side. On the exhale, hands find the floor, stand through the legs, heel toe the feet closer together, don't have to be touching, and on your exhale, set back and down into your chair, hands to hips. Second side for all of this. Now we're putting more weight into the left. Do the core work of lifting right. Find your balance, stay strong in your core as you stand through the left leg and make movement rising up. Right hand can guide right knee open. Sole of the foot can find the thigh, the shin. It can come back down to the floor if you need the extra support. Foot pushes into thigh, thigh pushes back into foot. Front right hip is pushing forward so we're not spinning, to feel like we're opening the hips. Good. If you need to bring that foot down to the floor, do so. Otherwise, carry right knee forward, foot stays active. Find some more of your fire here on this very fiery day as we extend out through the heel, not quite fully coming into Padangusthasana A, but just feeling it. Foot hugs into the hip. On the exhale, start to sweep the foot back just over the mat. Hinge forward. You can reach arms overhead. You can stay airplane wings if you would like to. You can bring hands to blocks if you would like to. Front knee starts to bend. Back foot finds the floor. Inhale, rise up for your crescent lunge. With support or not, but active nonetheless. Lower back knee to the floor. Adjust your stance as you might need to on this side. But once we're up again, palms forward. Pull down to lift up. Keep lifting heart, keep rising up. Maybe we extend the arms out, turn the palms away from you. Interlace the hands the other way, the exotic way. Hug elbows towards center. And as we stay strong through the front body, extend out, lengthen the arms, connecting to that inner right thigh, heart to the sky, maybe deepening the lunge. And wherever you are, bound or not, inhale to rise back up. Bring both hands to the inside of the left foot. Take it wider. For lizard lunge, change your back knee in whatever way you might need to. Find this groundedness first, this openness here on the left inner thigh. Maybe lower down to forearms, to the blocks or floor. That back knee keeps driving down and hugging forward. Push into the forearms. And if you would like to stay low to the floor for the twist, we're just going to take the right hand straight in front of us, bring the left hand onto the left knee or thigh, or come up onto the hands onto your right hand, left hand to thigh. On the exhale, actively engaging part of the body while the other part, opposite side, stretches. Twist into the twisted variation of this. Maybe it is left arm to the sky. Maybe it is right knee and reaching back to take hold of the foot. And drawing into yourself while you twist, open toward the sky. Nice. Good, everybody. Inhale to unwind. Come back up onto hands. Lift the back knee. Take a big step forward with the right foot, Malasana or linebacker stance or whatever we want to call it. Maybe the feet come a little closer in your Malasana pose. But knees hug to center, stay grounded on the inner edges of both feet. And as you push into the hands, upper arms, elbows, resist the centering energy of the knees and the legs. Find that little bit of a cow stretch so we're lifting through the heart. Good. On your next exhale, bring both hands to the floor. Come up part way, just enough so you can step one foot back and then the other. Find yourself in a tabletop position. And a supported side plank for some of us. For some of us, we'll take this a little bit further into a fuller version. If supported side plank is better for you, you're going to keep your right knee right where it is. You're going to take your right foot off the side of the mat. Left foot steps back, and we have supported Vashisthasana. We can start to turn this as well into a supported wild thing. If you're here for a fuller version, roll to the outer edge of the right foot, inner edge of the left. And as you push into the right hand, reach up to the sky with the left. Keep shoulder blades on the back and actively push down through the hands so we're putting space between us and the floor. And if you'd like to turn this into wild thing, take your left leg up, knee bends, knee starts to spin to the sky like you're trying to do tree pose on your side, but the foot comes down to the floor behind you, hips reach to the sky, chest reaches to the sky. Notice how this feels on the inner right shoulder. Inhale to unwind. Back to table, back to plank. For some of us in plank, if you would like to come into chaturanga and up dog, go for it. And as we find ourselves back either in table or plank, left knee stays down, left foot moves off to the side as the right foot steps back, or we roll to the outer edge of the left foot, inner edge of the right. All of us, as we push into the left hand, right arm reaches to the sky. Straight up to the sky, our Vashisthasana variation. Maybe chest starts to spin to the sky if you're in the table variation for a supported wild thing. Maybe right leg lifts, knee bends, and as the leg spins in the hip socket, knee reaches to the sky. Right foot finds the floor. Hips lift, heart opens. On your in-breath, come back to table for all of us. And you can make some circles with the shoulders over the wrists, especially if that feels like a lot. Good. Next, inhale. Bring yourself back to neutral. Lower down to the forearms. You can interlace the hands in a tripod shape. You can have both the hands and arms down like the number 11. You can place a block or a block and a half between the thumbs, the L and the J. And with the toes tucked and keeping shoulders over the elbows. Start to lift the knees with as much of a bend in the knees as you need to. Feet walk forward toward the elbows. That can be as wide as the mat. It can be closer. But just like in lizard, feel that power of pushing down into your forearms to support. And rather than just feet walking forward, what happens when you connect to your core and to your fire? Nice, everyone. On the inhale, when you're ready, start to walk the feet back, coming into forearm plank. And in forearm plank, you can lower the knee to the floor for support. You can lean a little bit to the left, come on to right hand, lean a little bit to the right, come on to left hand, make your way up to plank. Exhale, settle back to down dog. Again, feel into your hands. Find that muscle memory. Ground down through the pointer finger knuckle mound. Good. On your exhale, walk, step, hop, jump to the top of your mat. Nice, everyone. And exhale deeply into your chair. Good. One more time with this time arms overhead though. Unless hands by your side felt better. Good. Stand down into the right foot. Let the left foot float. Sit back and down a little bit more as you do so. Oh, quads. Inhale, stand through that right leg. Exhale, interlace hands underneath the thigh. If you would like to take yogic toe lock, you're welcome to do that. But on the inhale, as we extend out through the heel, notice if we have the hands interlaced, the shoulders want to come forward. If we're taking yogic toe lock, that side shoulder wants to come forward. Can you keep back body in the back plane without leaning back into it? Good. Nice. One more time here, keeping the leg active, the foot active. Hug into yourself. Reach up and overhead here if you would like to from your Padangusthasana A. Knee bent is perfectly fine. On the exhale, foot swings back. Move through warrior three. Front knee bends, back foot finds the floor. As soon as you find yourself back onto the floor, if you need hands down, do so. Spin the back heel down and take your right leg towards straight. Coming into triangle pose. A lot like Padangusthasana B. Inhale to extend the arms out. And as we draw to our center, through our feet, through our shoulder blades, exhale, reach to the front of the room as that front of that right hip reaches to the back of your mat. And on the exhale, find the shin, maybe fingers on a block to the inside or outside of the foot. Something we haven't done in the classroom for a while. But like I said, similarity here to Padangusthasana B. For some of us, maybe we can take yogic toe lock in our triangle pose. It's a big ask. You don't have to. Good. Bring your top arm into cactus arm. Keep bending that elbow so that the left hand takes hold of the back of the head. Give yourself support to not just let the head hang. Your elbow's probably coming a little bit forward. That's all right. Can you twist through the torso to send more of the right side of your chest toward that flat wall there and have the action of the chest opening be what takes the elbow a little higher? Staying here if that feels nice to support the head. Maybe reaching left arm to the sky. Maybe reaching bicep alongside the ears to the front of the room. Good. Nice. Stay strong through the core. Take out the back bend. And on the exhale, little bend to that standing leg. Frame it out as you spin the back heel up. Step back to plank. In your plank, lower both knees to the floor. You can sit back on the heels. You can place a block between the ankles if that is better for your heels. Look out, or well, your heels and your knees. Look out for your body. There's still a deep bend here, but there's some lift and more support. And on the inhale, reach up. Find your fire. Draw yourself forward to yourself. Maybe finger pads touch. Maybe palms touch. Maybe elbows start to bend as we bring the thumbs to the back of the neck. The elbows will move wide. That is all right. But without the head pushing forward and the elbows maybe moving wide, can you still try to hug to center? Try to close the upper arms alongside the head, just behind the ears. Nice stretch here through the tricep, through the armpits. Good. Inhale to reach back up. Bring your hands down. If you like to move through a flow to come to stand, do so. Otherwise, in your table, you can just step one foot forward, other foot forward. Let yourself hang out in a forward fold, like some of the others through the rest of class. Step back to a plank. No vinyasa flows today. All right. That means we're going to get to second side a little bit faster. Inhale, rise up to your chair pose. Also really good. Like I said, it's a hot day today. The idea of going to a hot yoga class to get even hotter when it's 90 degrees outside is a wild thing to consider for ourselves. So arms can be overhead if that feels right for you. Stand down into the left foot, let the right foot lift. Maybe sit back and down a little bit more. Again, say hello to that quad. And on the inhale, rise up, either with the knee staying bent, yogic toe lock, maybe interlacing the fingers underneath, and extending out through the right heel. Even more core work to keep that foot lifted. Even more core work to keep us from leaning back to find our balance. Good. Right heel hugs to right hip. You can release the hands. Stay very active here if you would like to. Transition on the breath into your warrior three. Find it. Come out of it with that front knee bending, back foot finding the floor. As soon as you do so, said back heel spins down, front leg straightens. Ground down. Lengthen, put more space between the shoulders and the hips. And on the exhales, you reach the left hand forward. Send the outer edge of your left hip to the back right foot there. Left hand can find the shin, the block, or the floor inside or outside of that foot. Inside the foot gives us more information, more stability. For that little bit of a twist to take the heart more toward the brick wall. Same thing on the other side if you would like to. Cactus arms, cactus arm with support for the head on this side. Maybe it is bicep alongside the ear as the right hand reaches to the front of the room. But draw belly button in and up. Spin a little bit more. And on the next exhale, little bend to that standing front knee. Frame it out. Step back to plank. In your plank, knees lower to the floor. Again, either sitting back on the heels, with or without support. Maybe for some of us, knees come together, feet are wider than the outer hips, and we settle back into Virasana. It is a lot on the knees, so be mindful of that. Do a similar thing with the tricep stretch. If Vajrasana or Virasana does not feel comfortable, you can come into Balasana pose, child's pose, with your elbows on blocks to give you support for the same thing, but putting less pressure on the knees. So arms will reach up. Looks like we're all here for Virasana or Vajrasana. Palms touch, fingers touch, whatever it might be. Try to bring with the arms extended here, hugging more toward space behind the ears. And on the exhale, start to bend the elbows. Keep elbows hugging to center. As you ground down through the sit bones, reach through the elbows. For the last breath or two here, not a big back bend, but if you would like to, rather than just releasing our activation, stay active through the front body. Lift through the heart as you stay active through the core. Lift through the heart as you stay active through the core. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead. Come forward with the hands. Come into a tabletop position. We will flow everything out. Take child's pose if you would like to. Otherwise, step back to plank. From your plank, either to the floor or chaturanga, either to cobra or up dog. Back out of the back bend. Inhale back to your down dog. Take 2 breaths in your down dog before walking, stepping, hopping to the front of your mat. And we'll just roll up the spine. Come to stand, shake out the arms, shake out the legs. So, we'll move to the wall here in just a second. We have L pose at the wall as one option. I can give cues for that for people who are new to it or unfamiliar with it. Keeping one foot on the wall and taking one leg up is essentially doing Padangusthasana A with the wall to support you. For some of us, if you would like to, coming into whichever version of handstand you would like, or sorry, headstand. Unless you can do this in handstand, I cannot. Headstand is good. Either tripod base or forearm headstand. I think this way is easier. Coming onto the crown of the head, if you're not familiar with this, as soon as the head touches the floor, push into the head so that we lift through the neck, and maybe you're just playing here and building that awareness and strength. Maybe you start to come toward a headstand. One leg is lifting. We're not trying to kick up, but we do have the wall behind us, so you can if you would like to, but finding this core work of pushing down through the hands and through the head, rising up into a headstand with Padangusthasana A through the leg. Again, letting gravity doing the work of giving you more of the stretch through the hips and through the back of the leg. You can lower down, you can take that leg back up, lower the other leg, however you would like to do it. So that's what we're working toward. Don't have to be against the wall if you don't want to. We have the space here to move against the wall. And if you are, let me ask, is there anybody who should not be going upside down in general? Any sort of health things or it's just not good for you? All right, cool. So either on your back or standing and still making use of the wall, you can play with the strap and doing A, B, and C, so you have the support there for that. You can also do that on your back for anyone else who would like to, making use of the strap. Is everyone who's coming to the wall familiar with L pose at the wall? Yeah? All right, cool. So that's a nice place to play here as well, because, as I was saying, we come up into something that starts us here, which is where we typically play. Moving one leg overhead gives us the wall here to support us, and you can let the foot come away a little bit and play a little bit with finding some balance, but making use of the wall, still getting that support of gravity doing the work. And if you would rather not play with that, and there's other versions of handstands and things you'd like to play, we're going to have a couple of minutes just to play those things. So if you are planning on doing the L pose at the wall variation, you're going to sit with your back to the wall. You're going to measure yourself out and place your blocks where your ankles are. For those of you who are not interested in L pose, find your headstand. Again, either tripod base or triangle base. For those of you who are doing L pose, you're going to take your very tight table into a very tight down dog. You are really good here. You can actually walk your hands back probably to here. You might want to come down for it, but I think you can come in a lot closer. Nice. Once we're up, we're hugging that big toe ball mound a little bit more to center. You both are looking good, and you both could also walk your hands a little bit closer to the wall. It feels like you might flip over. I promise you won't. And you can play with one side and then the other. And for those of you who are doing headstand away from the wall, it's all of that core work to keep that leg lifted and active when you come up. Nice. Give yourself the break when you need to. We have about another minute or two we can play here. So you can, if you were trying L pose at the wall, and you would like to try headstand without all the extra stuff, you have the wall there as well for support and just building that strength and awareness in your body. And the thing with headstand, or with handstand with doing this, is that that shape that we're talking about through the legs is one way to help us to kind of kick up or rise up into a handstand or a headstand without, it's a lot harder to fall back behind ourselves when we have one of our legs extending forward. So it's a nice place to practice more safely coming up into inversions in the future. With the other minute that we've got left here, this has been a lot with Padangusthasana A through the legs. If you're on your back, you can come to sit in Baddha Konasana, or you could take the Padangusthasana B on your back, just so there's that hip opening action happening there. Just a little opportunity to play and to feel how these poses feel with our different connections to the floor. And if there are any questions about anything, I'm happy to try to answer the questions. How did headstand feel for the people who are going into headstand? Good? I was mentioning here earlier in the practice about paying attention to the hands, even like when we're in tabletop, when we're in plank pose, when we're in down dog, any of those things. We also want to be very mindful that when we're in this, in a headstand, that we aren't letting the shoulders come up to the ears. And so constantly being able to check in and send shoulders back and down will give us a lot more integrity and safety through the upper body. And trying to lift that leg can like move us around on our head a little bit. And so we want to be very stable and strong in it when we're doing it. We're going to stay right where we are. That's fine for whether you're in the middle of the room or not. But if you are against the wall, just move your mat a couple of inches to the center so you have some space between you and the wall for the last 10 minutes or so here of our practice. If you're on that side, avoiding that conduit thing that's there with sharp points at a couple of locations around it. And come to lay on your back, head toward the wall. Yes, I didn't have this extra thing in here, but if you know that you use the wall for support with Urdhva Dhanurasana or wheel pose, you can adjust yourself either head to the wall or feet toward the wall. Again, if you use that and you would like to turn your bridge into wheel pose. I didn't have that in there, but then I was like, oh, we're already here. This would be great. So we'll bend the knees, bring them closer to the sit bones. Again, you can place a block between the thighs if you would like to remind you to hug the center. Bring your elbows alongside the body. Push triceps into the floor to get a little lift through the heart so you can hug both shoulder blades a little closer to center. Have the chin lifted ever so slightly so we're on the back of the head with the neck not touching the floor. And on the inhales, you push down through the feet, push down through the triceps and the shoulder blades. Send hips to the sky, knees the opposite direction of the heart. Keep hugging the center. Activate the glutes here to lift a little higher. If you'd like this to be more restorative, when we lower down, you can bring blocks by your side and turn the last portion of your bridge pose into a restorative bridge. Good. On your next exhale, slowly lower down to the floor. Keep the feet right where they are, but let the knees collapse in unless you've got a block there. If you would like a more restorative bridge, again, have 1 or 2 blocks ready to place underneath your sacrum. If you'd like to take a bound bridge, after we rise up, we're going to extend through the arms, press the length of the arms into the floor, possibly turn palms to each other and interlace the hands. Some of us will turn this into Urdhva Dhanurasana, or wheel pose. So bring your feet back to hips distance, your knees back to hips distance, arms alongside the body. Press down into the foundation of your bridge to rise up. You can extend through the arms. Like I said, press the length of the arms into the floor for more lift. Maybe the palms turn toward each other, and without the shoulder blades moving down the back, hug and bring hands together, interlace. If you would like to come into bridge, some of us are doing that, stay right where you are. Everybody can keep their heels right where they are and bring their big toes 1/2 inch closer together so that we don't have external rotation happening through the legs. Nice, nice, and nice. We did the shoulder stretching so it may feel a little easier, a little more accessible. And when you're ready to come out of your bridge, do so. When you're ready to come out of your wheel pose, do so. Unless you're keeping this restorative, stay just as you are. For those of you who have found yourselves on your back here fully, take the feet as wide as your mat, knees touch in, and just take some flowing movements with the breath, exhaling both knees to one side, inhaling to center, exhaling to the other side, inhaling to center. An option here for a twist. We did Padangusthasana A. Our tree pose we got into through Padangusthasana B. We can do a twist here with Padangusthasana C on our backs. Draw both knees into chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Then you're going to extend your left leg out. Heel to the floor. Toes pointing straight up. Treat it just like you would be standing on that foot. Take the knee over the hip, so it's just a 90 degree through the hips, 90 degree through the knee. Opposite hand takes the knee and draws you over in that direction. Keep your shoulder blades grounded so that it is a twist through the torso and not a turning or spinning of the body over to roll over. And being aware of who you have around you, if you would like to, you can lengthen that, unbend that knee. Inhale to slowly come up. Draw both knees into chest. Extend that right leg out. '90-degree bend with the left. Opposite hand takes the knee, carrying it across the midline, twisting. I did this Monday as well. Forgot one of the cues. While we're in this twist, that top outer hip hug toward your extended leg ankle. So put more space between the hip and the shoulder on that side for the twist. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to draw knees to chest. Inhale to either roll off to one side and come up to have a seat, or rock and roll up to have a seat. If you like to sit on a blanket, you're more than welcome to. We're going to start with our legs extended out though. Ardha Matsyendrasana, one more bigger twist here before we finish our practice. And 2 options. Well, there's a couple of options, but doing a little bit more with each. Maybe for less of a twist, or depending how it feels in your body, you're just going to bend your knees about halfway. You're going to bring your left heel, left ankle, to just in line with the right heel. That right foot can come in a little bit more, and we have more openness here through this part of the body for the twist. And so some of you may want to stay here like this as we twist to the right. If you'd like to come more fully into it, you're going to bring your left knee directly in line with the left hip. Right foot finds the outside, ground down on that outer edge of the foot. So we have more of the stretch happening here through the right outer thigh. IT band is in there. You can interlace the fingers, take hold of the knee, lift and lengthen. Some people will stay here if this feels like enough. You might bring left elbow around the right knee and twist toward the right with your right hand down, with your right sit bone heavy, not necessarily as equally grounded, but heavy. Maybe left arm reaches to the sky. And on the exhales, you pull down like you're doing a one-armed pull-up, really difficult, but find the action here on that side. Stay lifted here through the chest for the heart. One more deeper thing we can take this into. Extend through the left hand. And can the left hand find the left knee? It's a big reach. Yes. More for the twist and adding a little bit of a heart opening here in the twist as well. Inhale to center as you're ready. Lean back, extend out through both legs. Shake out the legs. Second side before our Shavasana. Bend the knees about halfway. Right front of your ankle comes behind the left heel. Maybe stays just like this for more openness in your body, in your twist. Maybe right knee shoots out straight forward, left foot crosses over, left big toe ball mound stays grounded. Interlace the hands around the left knee. Hug into center, maybe hug into yourself and stay here with lifting and just feeling the stretch. Maybe it is right elbow closing around left knee, left hand behind you. Knee tries to push to the left, arm tries pulling to the right. The opposites draw us into the twist. Staying here, we're reaching right arm to the sky. Maybe on the exhale, all of us doing a one-armed pull-up. Making the connection to the outer thigh, outer knee. Exhaling a little deeper here, still in the twist. And depending on how far up you can get knee and shoulder connected, maybe we extend out through the right hand. Maybe the right hand finds the right knee. And on the exhale, whichever variation that we're playing with, deepen your twist. Find the heart opening. Inhale to come back to center. Unwind. Extend the legs out. Shake everything out. If there are any final poses you would like before your Shavasana, give yourself the space to do so right now. Otherwise, come into your Shavasana, and if you're doing something other than that, take a couple of breaths in that other pose, but do give yourself space to come back to final relaxation. You can bring the legs into Baddha Konasana legs. You can place blocks on the outer part of the thighs. And again, wherever we find ourselves doing here at the end, check in with your breath. Let each of the exhales find something to release. So that the inhale can move deeper. Let your next inhale be deeper than the last. And the next inhale, deeper still. Slowly and with intention, whatever movements are right for you in this moment, reawakening the body, reintegrating breath, mind, and body here. After having given ourselves the space to rest. In a culture that is always asking us to do, resting in stillness can be our own resistance and our own rebellion. This grounding in ourselves helps us to listen to ourselves, to listen to our intuition, to know what is right for us. When we are in a grounded space, then the choices that we make come from just that space. And what is it like to be able to say yes or no based on what you want and what you can do? You can draw both knees to chest on the next exhale and give yourself a nice big hug. You can rock and roll a little bit to left and right and massage out spaces on the back that feel like they might need some extra love and support. Ultimately, either rolling off to one side or rolling up to have a seat and returning to Sukhasana or easy pose. Easy seat. And returning to this place where we started just about an hour ago as an opportunity to check in with ourselves and to notice the subtle and sometimes not so subtle shifts and changes that happen through the asana portion of yoga, the mindful movement portion. You can breathe here evenly and continue to sit with and explore within yourself, or bringing your hands to heart center, returning to this intention, this idea of self-reverence for our final Om. Exhaling completely to inhale fully. The light in me bows to the light in each of you. Namaste, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. It's my usual time. Some things coming up later today. Adriana is leading a, what's it called here? No, I just saw it. I see it somewhere else. There's something on the schedule today that Adriana's doing tonight, right? With Juneteenth? Yeah, it's not on here. There's something happening tonight with Adriana. There's information online that I do not have on this paper. I think it has something to do with food, fundraiser, information, activating all the energy here around Juneteenth, not just for this one day, but for all the days after. So that is tonight. I knew I saw it somewhere. Other things coming up while you're getting yourselves together. Wellness on the Waterfront is every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m., plus Sundays at 10 a.m. with teachers from here. There's other times happening with different teachers from elsewhere, I think. The 200-hour teacher trainees have recently graduated. Congratulations, everybody. Community hour classes are starting up this summer. They're $5 to $10. They're sliding scale this time. Tuesday mornings at 6:30 currently, other times to come if you want to come and do some early morning yoga and do some yoga with some very new new yoga teachers you probably practice beside all the time and haven't even known. That's happening. All the way fast forwarding to the end of summer here, the 50-hour yoga immersion that ties into the 200-hour teacher training will be starting up again with Anisha and Adriana. Great people, great yoga teachers, great message, great program. Check it out if you're interested. Don't have to become a teacher with it. And then this Friday, yoga and tabla with Anisha and Naren. Full spectrum class. Anisha's dad is going to be here playing the tabla. There'll be some opportunity to experience it and to play with it a little bit and to practice the sounds and the rhythms and the beats with our own voices. I've done it before in the past. Lots of fun, very cool. other things happening, continue to follow us. Be well, stay safe, have a great time, everybody. Great seeing you. Enjoy. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody online. Thank you, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.